Today I'm going to show you how to quickly and successfully learn triads on the fingerboard. Now, as a prerequisite with everything that I teach, it's very important to know all of the names of the notes on your fingerboard. So you can follow along today if you don't know them, but when you know them, then you'll be able to apply this fully. Okay, so we'll start with the most basic, the C major triad. The C major triad is the notes C, E, and G. So the first thing we want to do is actually learn it horizontally across the string. That way we're thinking of the chromatic scale as it actually lays out on the piano. So let's say I start on the 6th string, my C is here, my E, my G, C, over there, let's go backwards. There's my G, there's my E, there's my C, there's my G. I even have open E. Next string, C, E, G, C, E, and G. Last fret over there, 22. Turn around, G, E, C, G, E, C. All right, next string. I'll just start from the lowest note on the string. E, G, C, E, G, and C. 22nd fret. Okay, lowest note on the string. C, well, open G. G, C, E, G, C, E. And then the second string, C, E, G, C, E, and G. Right there. And then we'll do it from the first string, same as the 6th string, but we'll do it from the lowest note. So E, G, C, E, G, C. Right? We just want to get a handle on that just so that no chord tones of the chord are not experienced by us. Now, I've just that quickly, it's been what, a minute, 2 minutes, right? At this point, I've already played all of the chord tones everywhere possible on the neck. It's that quick and that easy. Again, prerequisite, you have to learn all the names of your notes in order to be able to do that. Now, as we keep going, now we're going to build vertical structure. Okay, so now vertical structure is going to be about, we can start on the top string, I think is a great idea. It's how I usually teach, especially if I'm teaching sweep picking. Sweep picking is all done with arpeggios, generally triads when we start. So G and E, let's just take two notes, right? So I've got, and we're not going to use, I mean, we can use open strings, E and C like that, totally fine. Technically that's triad and all that, but especially if you want to be able to move things around, using no open strings and having transposable shapes then acts as a good assistant, right? But not as a primary leader. So G and E, I've got that right there. That's two of my notes right there. Now let's move up. C, I could even go like C and E as a lower version, right? Which we use later. Or C and G like that. Let's move up. So now I've got E and I got G. So I got G and E there. E and C right there. Let's move up. Let's go G and C. And then G and E. And then C and G. Okay, just a nice way of thinking about it. Now, in terms of playing the entire triad, C, E, G, now we're going to add the 3rd string. So this is going to give us sort of our artificial shapes. These are ones that we play a lot, run into, move around, right? So the first one, C, is what's called root position. C is the lowest note. So here's my C on my G string, and then E, and then G. So I've got C, E, G. Beautiful. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to take my lowest note and move it up to E. Now from here, on the next string, where's my closest note underneath my fingers? That would be right here, 8th fret. That's my G, and then my C is right there. So then I get my neck shape here. And this is 1st inversion major. So we have root position major, 1st inversion major. And then 2nd inversion is going to be where G is on the G string. We're going to use the fretted G, so 12th fret, G, C, E. And I've got the what's known as the D chord shape. When I play a D chord, right? But I could also play it as a bar. It doesn't really matter what fingers I play it with. Sometimes I'll need it as a bar. Sometimes I can play it like this, right? But this is about visualization. So I've got G, C, E. Like when I want to sweep it, I'll actually use the 1st finger to go from the 3rd string to the 1st string when you're going. Like that, you know, first finger ends up moving. Okay, so we've got that right there. And now, I mean, we could keep going past that, but we're just going to get a repeat of that exactly, right? So now what do we want to do? We're going to keep building vertically, right? So now I put the C on the D string right here. Now I've got C, E, G, C. So I get to use the same first inversion shape from before, the 3-string version, but now adding the finger, adding the C now. Now I'm technically in root position because music theory is not guitar oriented. Music theory is frequency oriented, we could say. So my lowest note is a C, but I get to use that first position, first inversion 3-string shape to do it. So gives me that. Then the second inversion, I could go like this over here, but I'm using open strings, right? If I do that without open strings, now I've got that D chord shape on the top 3 strings, but I have to do it as a bar, unless I want to do it like this, which I can do sometimes, you know. No problem with the 4-string version. Okay, so, but I'm going to play it as the bar. And then the G will go to the G over here. So now G, C, E, G. So now I've got that right there. All right, let's expand it up to the next string, right? So if I want C in the bass, I have my C chord shape. Very common, right? But again, if I take that, move that up an octave, and don't use any open strings, I've got that D chord shape on the top here that I have to use as a bar now because I'm using all 4 fingers. So that beautiful C, E, G, C, E. Got that. Right there. Okay, now when I go to the next one, E, I got E, G, C, E. Now before I played the G there in the 4-string version, but once I'm playing the E, you can see, one, I'm already out of fingers. I'm using all 4 fingers, right? So once I add the E, I'm actually going to add sort of the next available note in the triad, which is a top C instead of the G. So I get to go E, G, C, E, C. Very much like playing a G chord. But with if we played it, you know, this is like the cage system idea. If we played it with the first finger as a bar, it would be like this, you know, on the 0th fret then, and that would give me my G like that. But without thinking about moving a shape and transposing it, I'm actually just finding the notes E, G, C, E, G. I've got the notes right there, right? And then G, that's going to be right here. G, C, E, G, C. I've got that all right there. Let's take it into root position. So I'm actually already there. My C is on the 8th fret. I've got the full major bar chord for that. Now if I take it from E, I'm actually going to have that same C major root position, but I'm going to just extend that bar all the way up to the 6th string. Now I've got E as my bass note, and I've got my C chord there, and then G, there's my G, and I've got this same shape from before where G was in the bass, but now I get the bar 2 extra strings, and that covers the C and that covers the G. So now we've covered it melodically on each string by playing every single chord tone real quickly, and we've also covered it vertically by playing every single chord tone. And you're welcome to go past the 12th fret. You're just going to run into the exact same shapes, and some of them down here get really tricky. On this guitar, I don't even have 24 frets, so you would run out of options less than you would within that. But that's all there is to it. So hopefully that helps with you know, getting down triads, nailing them, knowing how to play them without something like the cage system, which involves transposition and movement, and a lot of thinking. This way, when you learn your music theory, what notes are in it, you've got what you need, and you're able to take that to the guitar and play it the way you want to. So if that's you and you're tired of struggling with knowing where the notes are as a prerequisite and just having a tough time remembering the chord shapes because the shapes themselves can be challenging and almost esoteric at times. So if you're struggling with that, you want some help, send me a message. Let me know what your challenge is. I'll hook you up with a free 1-hour lesson over Zoom. Let's get you the results you're looking for. Thanks so much. Have a great day.